Before you hear her, I need you to listen different. This is not about bad men. This is not about accountability. What you're about to hear is an ideology, one that treats maleness itself as the problem. In this frame, men are flawed, men are defective, authority becomes immoral, responsibility becomes harm, and male decline gets celebrated like justice. I'm not pulling this out of thin air. I see the same message every single day. Different women, same script. Watch how collapse gets rebranded as awakening. Watch how blame turns spiritual. Then I'll call bullshit.
We are witnessing the collapse of male idolization. That patriarchy has taught us to idealize and idolize maleness, such that it ignores and it teaches us to be desensitized to dysfunctional behavior.
Listen to the language. She didn't say bad behavior. She didn't say specific men. She said maleness. That's not accountability. That's category guilt.
There is a program that requires in this system that we justify, excuse, and explain away dysfunctional male behavior in order to uphold systems, in order to uphold the status quo.
This is where men stop being people and become tools of a system. Once you do that, no man gets judged on his own behavior. He's already guilty by participation. This is how you erase individual responsibility on both sides.
We are literally watching the karmic returns happen right before our eyes. That even as we've been taught, programmed into this idea that authority is best in male form, that men are leaders, and that they're better leaders than women, and that they can be entrusted with leadership while they simultaneously cannot be entrusted to support, to honor life, or to have self-control, is giving us an opportunity to cleanse out whatever maleness program we still have within our system.
This is where the argument finally shows itself. She says men are trusted with authority but can't be trusted with life itself. You can't hold both of those positions at the same time. If men can't be trusted to support life, then stop demanding male labor, stop demanding male taxes, stop demanding male protection, stop demanding male sacrifice. You don't get to declare men dangerous and still expect the world to function off their backs.
The one that's allowed disgusting and dysfunctional male behavior to be funny, to be innocent, to be not that big a deal, to be a woman's fault, to be a woman's responsibility to support, to defend, to uphold, and to accommodate.
Now watch how everything gets collapsed. Every bad man, every bad relationship, every bad outcome. No distinctions, no individual responsibility, no boundaries. This isn't about behavior anymore. It's about branding men as the problem.
These are the kinds of ideologies. When you look at these idols, because maleness is an idol, whiteness is an idol, religion is an idol, and these three function together. That whiteness is to uphold white men. White women are elevated by default of their proximity to white men, but that the system of white supremacy itself was to uphold dysfunctional white men. That the system of Christianity supports a deity. And I think this is ultimately why we must defend men, because we've been spending years defending a violent, human, dysfunctional male God who asked the father of the faith to sacrifice his son, who trafficked Job just to prove a point, who erased the entire human race because he got tired and frustrated with his own creation. And that in this telling of this story, that the feminine principle was completely erased.
Let me stop it here. Up to this point, what she done is stack the frame. Maleness is an idol, whiteness is an idol, religion is an idol. All three are treated like one machine whose sole purpose is to excuse dysfunctional men. That's not a critique of history, that's a moral verdict on identity. Because once you say maleness is an idol, once you say whiteness is an idol, once you say religion is an idol, you already decided guilt before behavior even enters the room. Notice what happens next. Every failure becomes proof. Every exception disappears. Every man becomes a symbol instead of a person. Then we're told feminine principles were erased. But here's the problem. You can't claim erasure while also claiming omnipresent power. You can't say men built, ran, enforced, and controlled everything, and at the same time say women had no influence, no agency, no participation, no leverage. That contradiction matters, because once history is reduced to heroes and villains, you no longer try understanding how systems formed. You're deciding who deserves blame now. Up to this point, this isn't about balance. It isn't about accountability. It isn't even about equality. It's about replacing one moral authority with another.
That female leadership is seen as a punishment to men. That when men don't do their part, then women will take charge. It's almost like a threat to men. Meanwhile, this entire creation, in Genesis 1:1, it says that darkness was upon the face of the deep, and that the darkness itself is the feminine principle, is the womb space. That this entire thing, that light literally derives from the darkness. The idea that women are not leaders as they birth the entire human race is one of the greatest illusions that we've taken on, that we've absorbed. And it represents a collective sleep. Marianne Williamson mentions this. She says that he was mentioned to have slept, but never did it say he awakened. And we are in a time where we get to wake up and cleanse the need to defend harmful behavior just because it's occurring in a man. The bottom line is, this is so much more extensive that just like white supremacy, just like the illusion of separation from divinity, reaches so far that it's hard to even quantify all the things that it affects. But that this is an opportunity for us to cleanse out whatever parts of ourselves that are still so male identified that we support the degradation of life itself.
Let me bring this back to real life. Men and women are different. That doesn't make either one superior. It means we contribute in different ways. Men have traditionally taken on roles that involve risk, protection, and maintenance of society. Women have traditionally taken on the roles that involve life care and continuity. When individual men behave badly, hold those men accountable. That's reasonable. What's not reasonable is treating men as a group as if they are the problem, while still relying on men to keep society functioning. You cannot say men are dangerous, untrustworthy, and defective, and at the same time expect their labor protection responsibilities and sacrifice. You can't condemn masculinity and still depend on masculine roles. That contradiction matters. When men hear that message long enough, they don't become confused, they disengage. Not out of resentment, not out of hatred, but because no one continues to carry responsibility in a system that treats them as a liability. That's the reality of what's happening.